Witamy cię w Hebdow. Ja jestem Piotr. Jak się masz? O, bardzo dobrze, dziękuję. Oh, sorry about that. He just welcomed us to Hebdow and let us know his name was Peter and asked how we were, and I told him that I'm doing really well, thank you. So let me introduce myself. I'm Joseph Kojacek, or you can just call me Joe. Oh, hold on. Peter's coming back over to talk to us again. I'm glad to finally meet you. I've heard so much about you from your Aunt Helena over the years. It's a shame that we get to meet this way. The mayor had decided that it was unlikely anyone would claim her farm, so they decided to sell off the fields and equipment, but the house is still left. It's over by the center of town. I'll take you over there after I get a few things from the shop. Oh, well, that's good. So let me get you up to speed, because I'm sure you're a little bit lost of what's going on. So as I said, I'm Joe. I'm originally from the United States, but my parents are from Poland. My mother's originally from Spitkowice, which is just down the road here from Hebdow, down here in southern Poland. My aunt, Helena, who you just heard about, owned a farm here and never actually moved over to the States. Recently, however, she got ill and passed away from cancer. A couple months ago, I got a letter basically saying that she had left me her farm here in Hebdow. I've never farmed in my life, so I really wasn't sure what to do with it. But as I thought about it a little bit, I was just thinking, I was trying to find a direction for my life, what I was going to do. And I went ahead and said, with everything that's going on, all the challenges in the world right now, this is as good a time as any to go ahead and make a big change. So I've gotten rid of all the things I had back in the U.S., which really wasn't much. I was just living in an apartment and so forth. I kind of came over here with the shirt on my back, figuring, I'll see what's going on with Aunt Helena's farm and see what I can do and make a new start here in Poland. So as you can see, I do speak Polish, which obviously gives me a good head start. And we're over here in the shop, it looks like. Let's take a look at what we've got going on. Looks like there's a sign. There's some nice cars here. It's early spring, so we're still kind of waiting for the weather to warm up. I guess I'll go down this way. Don't want to get hit by a car my first few minutes in town. Oh, there we go, Hebdow. It's about a mile down the road, it looks like, or actually, I guess it'd be a kilometer here now that we're in Europe. I've got to get used to all those changes. The fact that we're not using dollars anymore. We're over here in Europe, so we'll be using euros. Definitely looks a little different than where I came from. Old school stuff. I remember my parents telling me stories about how they grew up here in the 60s and all the challenges that were going on at the time, being under control of the Soviet Union and so forth. Not sure how much of this area has really changed. Some of these buildings look pretty old. So anyway, hopefully Peter will be done soon and we can head on over to the farm. Here we are. I used to help out here on the farm when I was a teenager. That was before your aunt became ill. I loved it here. I'm so happy you've decided to give it a go. Maybe someday I'll work on this farm again. I live a couple doors down across from Field 41. Feel free to stop by if you need anything. Good luck. Wow. So, here we are. It looks a little different than the shop, but still. There's our aunt's farm. Let's go ahead and open the gate and head on in. See what we've got. So, pretty nice house. Looks like maybe someone was at least keeping things up. It looks like we've got some flowers in the window and so forth, so very nice of them. But, I did right ahead and let people know I was coming, which is how they connected me with Peter. Again, obviously, as you heard, he used to work on the farm, so I think maybe when they asked around town, that was why he took some interest and said, sure, I'll help this crazy American out who's coming over here to try to get things done. We've got a swing set. I don't remember Aunt Helena having any kids, but we didn't do a great job of kind of keeping up. There we go. I'm like, why can I not close the gate? We didn't do a really good job of really keeping up with exactly what was going on, but, if nothing else, I know she was always writing to us and so forth, so I know she really enjoyed kids, and so maybe since she didn't have any, she still at least had some local children come over and play, and was able to certainly look out her windows and see. So anyway, let's see what we've got. So we've got the house. Looks pretty nice. We've got a ladder if we've got to do any work, but the buildings look like they're in pretty good shape. So I don't know that we're going to have to do anything anytime soon. Definitely a real nice driveway with brick yard and so forth. Quite nice. Looks like we've got a couple sheds or enclosed garages and an overhanging shed, but unfortunately, as Peter's told us, the mayor decided to liquidate, I guess, the fields and the equipment, so we've got buildings at least, which is a start. It means, we're not having to find a tent and live out in the woods, but let's see if this opens up. Not very well. Oh, there we go. Just had to push a little harder. Wow, there's a lot of space in here. Fortunately, we don't have any money, so it's going to be a little bit challenging to fill it anytime soon. Oh, here we go. What have we got? A couple pile of, looks like the bricks that make up the building. Some fields right behind us. I wonder if these were any of the fields that Aunt Nina owned. But I guess it doesn't really matter right now, because they're not ours at this point. Oh, we've got some wood. It's getting a little warmer here, so Poland's not too terribly cold, so it's not freezing cold. All right. So not bad. We got a few things. I'm not quite sure what we do with these tires on farm equipment. They look a little small, a little thin for anything we'd be using. And we've got a workbench, some nails and screws. So I suppose if we need that, we've empty bin. I guess it's good it's empty versus having something sitting for months and maybe rotting and not being in great shape. Oh, lovely house, lovely view here. So yeah, it looks like maybe here we can, as we grow the farm and do get some equipment, we might be able to keep the small things here and the larger things go over there. Looks like they're about the same height. To get things in, we can certainly park some things out here. I think we've got some diesel, so we're just going to have to make sure that things are in good shape. I'm not quite sure. These bags are kind of, looks like they're ripped open. I probably just eventually need to try to get rid of those if I can. I guess that's how the power comes in. Again, certainly very different than what I'm used to in the U.S. A lot more rural and rustic, because I didn't live in the country where I came from. I was in the city. So this is, again, definitely a big change for me, but I'm looking forward to it. It's a new adventure, and it looks like a pretty nice area. Oh, I've got a sign here. Let's see what it says. Of course, it's in Polish. We're obviously in Poland, so let me translate it for you. So it says European Agricultural Fund for Rural Development. Europe investing in rural areas. The operation, aimed at improving the safety of plant production by purchasing plant machinery, is co-financed by the funds of the European Union under the measure Modernization of Farms in the Rural Development Program 2007 to 2013. So, sounds like maybe Aunt Helena had some help financing this. It looks like from the size of it, she had a pretty good operation going on. That's not a small structure. I'll have to figure out how many liters that might store, but that's a problem for later since we don't have any fields right now. So that's what we've got. So here we are. So I guess the next thing to do is head on over to Peter's house. I know he said he was just a couple doors down. And, maybe let's see if he can give us some work and we can make some money today so that at least we have some money in our pocket and we can go forward. Alright, so let's head on down and see if we can find Peter's house. It's a pretty nice area. Looks like a pretty big field across the street there. Not sure we're going to be able to afford that anytime soon, so... But if nothing else, as the years roll by, we'll be able to kind of keep an eye on things and have a nice view. So yeah, I'm not sure if he's here or if he's further down the road. Yeah, this looks a bit run down. I'm thinking he's not in this yard. This almost looks like a working yard as well. So I'm going to head on down here. Because, yeah, he had told me as we were driving that he had just kind of a little tiny house and a white car. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it looks like him. Can't open the gate. Let's see, can I guess he told me I could come visit him. I guess I'll jump over. So, let's knock on the door. Oh, hello again. What can I do for you? Yeah, Peter. Yeah, thanks for dropping me off at the farm. I've had a chance to look around, but I think you told me that you might be able to get me some work or something. I really don't have any money, and it would be great to maybe get a job, even if it's just a single job, and make a little bit of money. Janusz right next door owns some of the nearby fields. I let him know you were coming and what the situation was. He said he'd be happy to offer you some work and also perhaps something else. Not sure what that means, but stop on by. He knows you are arriving today, so it should be okay. Oh, great, thanks. Alright, well, next door. Looks like over there. I think I'm going to have to be hopping fences around here because obviously I don't have the gate keys for anybody like I do on my own farm, but at least I'll come in the front so that I'm not appearing to be overly rude jumping over from Peter's yard. So, Janusz is basically John in Polish, so just so you're aware, but obviously we want to call people by their regular names. Yes, what can I do for you? Hi. Piotr sent me over from next door. I'm the new person in town. My name's Joe Kowadziejczyk, and I live just down the street. I'm going to be where Helena Kowadziejczyk's farm used to be. I was told by Peter that you might have a job for me? Oh, yes. Piotr said you would be moving into town today. Great to meet you. Yes, I've got a field right up behind the house here, just a bit to the west. I've got a tractor and cultivator parked up there, as I've not worked the fields in a while. If you get that work done for me, I'll pay you 500 euros, okay? Oh yes, that's great. Wow, 500 euros. Certainly much better than I could have hoped for, so yeah, I'll get right to work on that. Thanks. All right, so let's go ahead and get this work done. 500 euros is 500 euros. We certainly don't want to pass that up. It's early, but I'm going to run down here. I think he said off to the west. There's a road here, so let's head on that way and see what we've got. And I think he said field 31. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of markers or something on the ground. Yeah, I think this is 31 from what I understand. Oh, there's the tractor. Wow. Yeah, he's not kidding when he said he hasn't farmed in a while. This thing looks like it's certainly seen better days. I guess in the US we'd call that a two-tone paint job, but I'm not quite sure a lot of that's paint. Alright, so there's the tractor, but oh, there's a pretty nice cultivator there, so yeah, this doesn't have any markings on it, but I'm gonna guess this is probably Russian of some sort. Well, let's see, keys are in it, but that was a interesting start. But it's running, so we're not going to complain. It's certainly easier to clear the field with a tractor than it will be do it with a shovel or something, so we're not going to complain here. Get that connected up. Head on over. And I think we're going to line up and do what we can to get things cleaned up here. Alright, look at that. We're farming in Poland. All on the same day that we show up. Pretty nice. So let's just be careful about running into the field. Not sure if these tires are thin enough to avoid any damage, so I don't want to take any chances. The good news is this thing moves along pretty well. Certainly kind of what I expected. A little of the less than standard fields. Nothing as perfect as we sometimes see, especially in the Great Plains in the US, where they're just perfect rectangles. So I'm sure the farmers over time could have cleaned out this scrub in between, but I do wonder in some cases if some of that is left just to maybe almost act as a windbreak in the middle of winter to avoid just snow just billowing across the fields. Yeah, this is not the smoothest running engine from the sound of it, but gets the job done. Not sure how big this field is. It's certainly bigger than it looked from the road. This may take us a little bit of time here with the implement we have, but we agreed to take the job. It's early in the morning. We've got all day if we need it. So let's keep at it. Alright, so we're finishing up the last bit of the field here. If there's one thing I noticed for certain, the fields are definitely a lot rougher than I thought they would be. Definitely not very smooth, bouncing around. I'm sure the age of the tractor and just, maybe the quality of it don't help either, but it certainly seems to be emitting a lot of smoke compared to what I was expecting, but I will say, pretty proud of myself for having not farmed. I think we've done a pretty good job. Go look at that field and yeah, just makes me feel good. Gotten something done in my first day here at Hebdow. So, I'm going to go ahead and drive over to Janish's place, because I know he had the tractor out here, but I'm guessing he might want to put it away rather than just leave it outside. If nothing else, maybe I'll suggest that to him, because that'll certainly make it last a little bit longer. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. The street seems to be pretty quiet. Because, yeah, I can't open his gate, so if he wants it in, we'll worry about it there. So let's let him know we're here. That field has never looked better. Here's your 500 euros. You know what? I know you're just starting out, and since Mayor Zabala sold all the equipment out from under you, and I am not interested in being a farmer any longer, take the tractor and cultivator to give yourself a start. It's not great equipment, I know, but will at least allow you to get work. Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you. I don't... There's nothing else to say, but thank you. That's incredible. Thank you. Wow. Well, that changes things. I certainly wasn't expecting that we'd get a tractor and a cultivator out of the deal. I mean, again, it's, you know, probably not the best thing to look at. A little bit dirty. You know, the rust from the tops running down on the windows. Things have gotten caked on a bit, but yeah, this will help because we won't have to be relying on people letting us use their equipment. I mean, I'm sure we'll still get some of that, but this will allow us to be able to work on our own. And if we get lucky enough to somehow get a field, we've got a head start with some equipment. So, wow, I just don't know what else to say other than wow. I'm trying to remember where we live. We're still new to town here, but yeah, there we go. I did leave my gate open when I walked down the street, that's right. So, we'll pull in here. Wow, this is just an awesome feeling. I not only own a farm here in Hebdow, I now have a tractor and a cultivator. I'm going to go ahead and, I guess for now, just park it under the shed here. I think it'll fit pretty well. Alright. Lower that down. We'll disconnect it. Oops. Okay. Oops. Got to turn it off. So, yeah, I think that's a pretty good start for our first day. I hope you'll agree, but... So, here we are. I still can't get over the fact that suddenly, not only do I have 500 euros in my pocket, but I've got a tractor and a cultivator. I'm a farmer in Poland. Wow. We'll see you next time.